Hey, what's up, people? Pizowell here, and today I want to talk to you guys about 1996's Santa Claus. That's C-L-A-W-S. And before you start to imagine the Santa-clad killer in this film brandishing a set of razor-sharp claws that he uses to maul his victims, that's not exactly the kind of claws used here. The Santa-clad killer in Santa Claus uses a garden claw. I believe it's called a cultivator. Definitely not the most formidable weapon our killer could have selected. And Santa Claus is about a beta male incel, using today's terminology, named Wayne, who is obsessed with the Scream Queen Raven, played by the lovely Debbie Rochon. And he will stop at nothing to make sure that Raven is the #1 Scream Queen in all of Scream Queendom. Now, there's something that I have to address when it comes to this movie right off the bat, the elephant in the room here, and that's that this film is really bad. There is no way around it. This is a really, really bad movie. However, therein lies its charm, at least for me. Now, Santa Claus was written and produced by John Russo, who famously penned the script for Night of the Living Dead. Now, Russo's career post Night of the Living Dead has been interesting, to say the least. His films have included a lot of exploitation and sleaze, movies like The Booby Hatch and The Majorettes, which the first half of The Majorettes is a slasher movie, and the second half of The Majorettes is a revenge shoot-'em-up action flick. Russo also penned the original screenplay for Return of the Living Dead before Dan O'Bannon got a hold of it and did a most likely very much needed overhaul. Russo also wrote the screenplay for Children of the Living Dead. And if you've seen that movie, yeah. Russo must have discovered the budget for Santa Claus under his couch cushions, because it looks like this movie was shot for pennies. It looks and feels incredibly cheap. There's zero production quality in this film. Most of the film is shot inside what I'm assuming was like John Russo's house. A lot of it is also shot inside the offices of Scream Queens Illustrated, which was a magazine that Russo was part of back in the 90s, and the magazine was promoted as being a Playboy, but for the horror crowd. I unfortunately never had the opportunity to thumb through an issue, though. The acting in the film, aside from the lovely Debbie Rochon, is not good. The dialogue is not good. The kills in the film are not good. I don't know what possessed John Russo to make the killer's weapon of choice here the little garden claw thing. It's the most ridiculous murder weapon that you could conceive of, but the killer uses it like a knife. He's constantly like stabbing people with it, and I mean, he's like killing people with one blow of this thing, and I mean, it could only penetrate your skin. Even if it penetrated your skin an inch maybe, it's just, I cannot imagine a more unformidable murder weapon than if he used, I don't know, like the corkscrew attachment on a Swiss Army knife as his murder weapon of choice. Then you have the killer himself, who is not in any way, shape, form, or fashion formidable. He's not threatening, really, in any way. He's just this little skinny guy with the garden claw. And now, Russo definitely knew who his audience was for Santa Claus, because he loads this movie down with a lot of gratuitous nudity. As a matter of fact, I would say at the very least 25% of this movie is just gratuitous nudity. However, even Russo kind of gets the sleaze factor wrong in this movie, because a lot of the TNA just kind of feels awkward and uncomfortable. Even the lovely Debbie Rochon has an extended striptease in this film that just goes on too long. And I never thought I would say that. Debbie Rochon striptease goes too long, but it just gets to a point where you can kind of tell maybe she was a little uncomfortable with the sequence, and it just feels awkward and uncomfortable, particularly the part where she picks up a wrapped Christmas gift and begins rubbing it against her chest. And I can't imagine what Russo's direction was during that sequence. I mean, did he just say, hey, grab that present and rub it on your boobs? There's literally not one element of this film that is done right or is done well. This movie is just kind of a great big mess. Now, after having said all that, there is still something about this movie that, for one reason or another, every holiday season I am compelled to pull the DVD off of the shelf and watch it. I know it's going to be bad. I know it's a bad movie on every single level. I know these things. And yet every holiday season, I'm pulling the DVD off the shelf, putting it in my player, and watching it. I guess I just find a certain charm in how poorly made this movie is. I definitely can't recommend Santa Claus. If you're a fan of really bad slasher movies, then by all means, seek the film out and give it a watch. Otherwise, I can't recommend it. I'm probably the only person on this planet who watches Santa Claus every holiday season. And if that's the case, I'm perfectly fine with that. But it's a bad movie. It's a really bad movie. If you've seen Santa Claus, please let me know down in the comments section below. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up and share it on social media. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. They're also right around here. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys out there are all having a great, safe, healthy, happy, and horror movie-filled holiday season. Take care, and until next time, peace. Join the $1 a month club and help support my channel on Patreon. Thank you to my current patrons, Kevin Smythe, B-Movie Mike, Robert Sobel, Turi Delamore, Stephen Flanagan, Lori Holt, Craig Farrand, Farron Sutton, Jeremiah Lambert, Grindhouse Grotto, Derek Jana, Demon Waffles, Simon Clark, Stone Gassman, Zachary Barton, Lorne Dixon, James Welch, Eli Geisler, Jeff Overing, Pete Toll, Kyle McGuire, Jay the Stingray, Andrew McDonald, Dave Barnes, Jonathan Lundy, Chris Gonzalez, The R-Rated Show, Fear Fuel, Jason Breitenbach, Brandon Bisdick, Steak Sauce, Mark Striano, Jeff Gardner, Travis Davis, The Obsoletionist, Chris Earls, Kevin Fitzpatrick, Randall Beatty, Joseph Hinkle, Hey Isn't That Devon Graham, Christian Hannah Horror, and Jacob Green. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.